John, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us on Groundcover TV.
Thank you.
You've done a lot of work lately on the restructure of GRDC. Tell me how that's going.
Look, we're making good progress. I guess the objective and the goal is to make sure that the investment growers make in the levy is the best investment they make, and to do that we really need to focus the portfolio. So we've made some structural changes within GRDC to be able to do that. I guess the second thing is putting much more emphasis on actually delivering the results of research to growers and regional delivery. And as a consequence of that, that also required some changes inside GRDC, which I have made. And finally, the accessing technologies from overseas, some of those global technologies, requires us to have part of GRDC which is a lot more commercial.
Now, you spend a lot of time out and about communicating with growers and getting their feedback. How's that been?
Oh, it's been great. Look, went out and did about 15 grower meetings around Australia. West Australia, we did 9 meetings over in West Australia. They were small meetings with growers in growers' sheds, and it was a great opportunity for me to get out there and find out what those issues are that are on farm, and to see what impact research and development is having on growers, on their farms, and to find out what they know about GRDC and how, of course, how we can do a better job.
So what seemed to be the big issues that growers were telling you about?
Growers do have concerns about how the new varieties are performing, and they are really looking forward to some significant improvements in the quality of those varieties, particularly in the north with things like crown rot and nematode resistance. They're certainly hanging out for that. But right across Australia, I guess growers are looking for higher yielding varieties, and that was certainly a message that came through strong and clear in most of the meetings.
We talked last time about GRDC's increasing focus on extension, and in research and development organisations there's a common problem talked about, that the research can come first but the extension is tacked on at the other end. How is the restructure addressing that issue?
It's a major objective of mine is to make sure that growers see the benefit of research. And what I say is it's all very well for us to go away and manage a whole lot of research projects, but unless a farmer plants a different seed or changes a farming practice on their farm, the return on investment is zero. So we really do have to take responsibility for the whole of the continuum, right through to a farmer doing something different on their farm. And that actually means designing some of the research from the other end and looking at the farming system, looking at what the farmer's doing, and then saying, well, what are some changes what would make a difference? And it may be that, yes, we've got to develop some new technology, but it may be that we've also got to put in place with that a program which actually helps skill growers up to use that technology. And I guess with the new information technologies that are out there, there's some real exciting opportunities to do that better. And I guess we are exploring some of these technologies as well as the paper-based material. I think different people learn different ways, but with the new smartphone apps, for example, and some of the computer-based technologies, and even some of the social media products that are out there now.
Recently been a lot of talk about the new Australian Grain Innovation Centre in Western Australia. Sounds exciting. What's that all about?
One of the areas where we identified we need to build capability is in the whole area of grain for export markets, and making sure the grain that we export is the quality our customers want. Now, we were fortunate that the West Australian government made a commitment of $30 million to build infrastructure in the West in relation to grains, and they also have agreed to put in $20 million over 5 years to build the programs. And we've come in behind that investment and matching that dollar for dollar. So we're putting $20 million in also over 5 years to build a real centre of excellence, a national centre of excellence that's going to really work on making sure that the grain that we export is the quality our customers want.
So if it gets it right, what will be the result?
The outcome we're looking for is that Australian grain growers are better off. There's benefits in there for Australian grain growers. So in this case, it'll be in terms of having good market access, making sure that our customers are getting what they want, and of course the best way to make money is make sure your customers are satisfied, and as an industry we need to do that.
What's an example of the kind of project that would be core business at the Australian Grain Innovation Centre?
A range of areas, but one of them is one area which is really important is actually picking up the market signals. So not necessarily just talking to the traders, but actually talking to the millers, talking to the people that actually use the flour, and finding out what it is they're looking for, what is the quality attributes which they would be prepared to pay more money for, or they value. And then feeding that back into our research programs in Australia, in particular feeding that back into our breeding programs and making sure our breeding programs are selecting for the sort of quality that our customers want.
John Harvey, always great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks.